Today's demonstration, I will be using a stipple technique to show value. I have given myself a nice range of blues and black and a gray. These are just regular gel pens, and I'm going to be working on the clothing of the person that you see in this image. So stipple is mainly creating value using dots. So as I'm demonstrating, what I'm going to be doing is just going in with different pens and creating dots. Eventually, it's going to fan out and get lighter, as you can see in those areas. So I'm going in the areas where there is a defined, a very defined shadow. And again, the purpose of creating value is to show a sense of depth, as opposed to just, coloring in an object or a person. I'm gonna make it look more realistic by emphasizing those shadows. Let me move this picture so you guys can see it a little better. If I use stipple on just one aspect of the drawing, it doesn't mean that the whole thing has to be made with stipple. Sometimes you can jump around, but I like to be fairly consistent, and I try to utilize the same types of techniques in the same type of image that I'm working with. So for right now, I'm just starting with a basic, just adding a little bit of value with one color, and then I'm going to go in with different colors and enhance that. One thing to know, that when you're doing stipple, you're not hitting the table really hard. You're trying to be gentle and purposeful so that you don't get marks like little lines, but rather you're going to be getting dots. It is time consuming, but it is one of the techniques that I think is really important to learn, especially as you're learning to understand value. It forces you to slow down and think more about what exactly it is that you're trying to do. As with any type of art, there's really no right or wrong, but your intention is to, try to look at an image and be able to duplicate the details that you see. If I just colored in her little jumper here and made it all one color gray, it's gonna look flat. So that's a term that you need to know, flat. If it's flat, then it doesn't really look like she has form or body to it. So I'm showing all of the different wrinkles in there, and just starting to get some information on the page. And I'm not using just one color. I'm using a nice range of different blues. And always remember that when you are working on art, you are showing your version of that photo or what it is that you see in your mind. You're showing the world your vision of what that looks like. And I can see some highlights that I actually missed in there, right in this area. So that's where it's really nice to have a white gel pen. because I can always go back in and bring those highlights back out. I might need to draw on another paper real quick to get this going. So what I'm gonna do is bring in those highlights in the little, I guess we'll call it ruching of her outfit. If a gel pen doesn't work, you can always go in with a little bit of paint. It's not wanting to show up too well for me, but that's okay. Oops. So the areas where I see the darkest parts, I'm going to go in with my black. And I could also use different techniques like the hatching or the cross hatching to further emphasize certain details. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of a hatch. And so I'm using multiple techniques to show value in her little outfit here. So here I'm using a bit of a hatch. So the purpose of the exercise is to give you some ideas of different ways to show details in an image, in a drawing, as opposed to simply coloring in. I am using different colors and mark making techniques to bring out the details in the outfit that she's wearing. It actually kind of looks like a scribble. You probably learned early on that scribbling is your teachers teach you to stay in the lines and not to scribble. Well, this is where I actually tell students you can scribble. This is where it's intentional, okay? I'm not just scribbling over the entire picture. I'm actually just going in with a little bit of a shaky hand, which kind of resembles a scribble, and it is creating that value that you see. What I sometimes like to do is go in with a little bit of, different techniques such as stipple or hatching and cross hatching, and then later on I bring in more details, but I use colored pencils on top. I find it hard to use colored pencil on top of, or gel pens on top of colored pencil, so hence the reason I'm using my gel pens first. Colored pencil has a bit of a wax to it, and I don't know, my gel pens don't work so well with that. So I'm just going in with different blues and showing my version of that picture. It's okay if it doesn't match perfectly. That's really not my intention to match it perfectly. It's my version of what I see. Well, you can't see that white very well. It's there. I'm just building up some different colors here. So now to finish it off, I'm going on top with a gray, which is, the main color that most people see when you're looking at this outfit. So